Yo, welcome back to Men to Boys, and today we're going to talk about Barcelona's new signing, Marcus Rashford, and why I think this is a good signing and the signing that Barcelona needed, but I don't think necessarily wanted. It's a win-win-win-win situation for every party involved, from Man United to Ruben Amorim to Barcelona, Hansi Flick, Deco, everyone involved is happy with this signing. Well, I hope they're happy with the signing. I think it's the signing they needed. I don't think it's a signing they wanted for multiple reasons. Because they wanted other players like Nico Williams, Luis Diaz, Rafael Leao. None of those signings came through. And the most famous one being Nico Williams. Luis Diaz, I don't know why Deco was working for him for the longest time. I don't think he was a good signing because of his age and because of the amount they were asking for. Rafael Leao is just a very inconsistent player. He can be a very good player. He can be an elite player, but I don't think he's a signing that Barca needed at this moment in time. The main reason is because the squad we have, the first 11 we have, I don't think needs any changing. Especially on the up front with Rafinha, Lewandowski, and Yamal. I don't think we need to change anything up front. So if you're going to go for a left winger, I don't think you needed to go for someone who's going to start. You needed to go for someone who can be more of a squad player than a starter. Nico would have been a starter. Luis Diaz would have come in and demanded to start. So would have, Rafael Leao. So having Rashford come in and him not being, a starter per se, he can potentially start. And we're going to talk about why and where I think he will be more comfortable starting, especially if we're talking about the front three. If we're talking about Yamal, he can't take Yamal's spot. He can't take Rafinha's spot. I don't think he should. He can, but I don't think he should. But I think Lewandowski's spot is the one that's more available for Rashford. And we're going to talk about it and why I think he fits well into the squad, not into the starting lineup. The news just broke not too long ago. I saw it just before I went to bed. I was like, I'm not going to talk about it right now. I need some sleep. And then I was like, I'll talk about it tomorrow. And being from down under, the time difference is very. I don't know why I live down here, man, because it's even watching games is something that I have to wake up in the middle of the night to watch, early in the mornings. So the news broke out. Here we go. It's not official yet, but it will be official soon, in the coming days. So that's that. And we're going to talk about the formation, where I think he'll play and where I think he's more suitable to play. So let's talk about this formation right here, which I think suits. I think this is the starting lineup. I don't know how you see anyone fitting into the starting lineup. Potentially, maybe you can change the center back positions because there's a couple options you can have. But I think for me, if I had to choose first 11, this is my first 11. So in terms of Marcus Rashford, he comes in. Where does he play? He can play where Rafinha plays. He can play where Yamal plays. He can play where Lewandowski plays. But I don't think he's a starter per se. But he can come in and give Rafinha a rest and potentially do what Rafinha does, which is run in behind and wait for some sort of switch or line breaking pass from one of the midfielders or Yamal. Running in behind like Rafinha does and, find the net or even square it to whoever is available. He can come in where Yamal plays, give Yamal some rest, and I think he can do a decent job. I don't think he definitely can't do what Yamal does, but he can do a decent job in, just finding space and probably potentially do what Rafinha does on the left and do it on the right, where he can run in behind and wait for a pass from Pedri or De Jong or Olmo to find him. But he can also try to dribble and go past and maybe cross it into a Lewandowski or Olmo, cut it back. So he's a good squad player. I think he potentially could take Lewandowski's role more often than he would with Rafinha and Yamal. I think he's more suited for a striker at this moment in time in his career. He still has the pace to be a Rafinha. He still has the technical ability to do what, Yamal does at some point. But I don't think he can take the spots. I think he can take Lewandowski's spot because let's not forget Lewandowski's not getting any younger. He's been rotated a few times last season. Even Ferran Torres. I'm not gonna forget about Ferran Torres. He does the same job that Rashford is potentially gonna come in and do. But I think Rashford is more technically gifted. He's a better finisher. He's quicker. He's faster. So I think Rashford is a better option than Ferran Torres would be or has been. So look, like I said, I don't think he's the player that Barcelona wanted, but he's definitely the player that Barcelona needed because he's not going to come in and disrupt whatever was happening in the squad from last season. Because Nico Williams would have came in and take Rafinha's spot straight away, and Rafinha would have had to move into almost spot or potentially Lewandowski's spot. I didn't want that to happen because I think this starting lineup is a perfect lineup. I don't think we need to change anything in this lineup. So Rashford coming in would have been a good option, but I don't think it would have been a great option. So look, I think Rashford is the perfect signing right now, this season, at this moment in time. But obviously next season, there'll be players that would, might drop off in form or might even excel because maybe Rashford might push them to another level. Rafinha might end up having one of his best seasons. He just had a great season, but he might end up having an awesome, fantastic season. Yamal is only going to get better and better. Lewandowski, his contract finishes by the end of this coming season. So Rashford, this is your time to prove that you can be that player. So Barcelona doesn't have to go out and look for a striker. I think they should. I think we need a proper number 9. But if Rashford proves to be that guy, then I don't think we need to be going out and splashing a lot of money because we cannot afford to be, spending willy-nilly because we don't have the facilities, big man. So here, this is what I think. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think I'm being irrational, reasonable? Do you think I'm making sense? And if you think I'm talking nonsense, comment. Tell me who the player you wanted to come in and potentially, replace one of the players already starting. Who do you think the player should have been? Is it Luis Diaz? Is it Rafael Leao? Is it Nusa? Because people were talking about him. I'm not familiar with his work per se. I've seen a couple of his clips, him playing. He's a good player, but I think he's not a starter. He could have been a great option to come off the bench and potentially next season take on, a starting role. But I think Rashford is a signing we needed because he can play in all those 3 positions and give the rest to any of them coming into the season because there's going to be a lot of games and we need players to have some rest. Because that was the problem last season when Yamal got injured. We had to shuffle a few things around just to, to fill that role. There was a big void where Yamal was. And you can clearly see we had shortage, up front, because Ferran Torres doesn't do, a great job on the wings. He's a good striker, but he's not elite. He's average. So Rashford for me, I think is a good signing. What do you guys think? Comment below. Like if you think I'm making sense. Subscribe if you think I'm making absolute sense. Yeah, let me know. I'm excited. I think Rashford is going to do great things. Hansi Flick is the type of coach that, brings the best out of players. So I see him excelling and being even better than he was, at his peak, in 2023 with United. I think he'll probably, if he gets playing time, I think he can go on higher levels. Anyways, thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment what you think. Peace.